Buenos días. Es el miércoles y son las 12. Hello, everyone. It's Wednesday and it's 12 o'clock, so it's time for Community Spanish, number 2 of 3 this week, broadcasting every week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 12. We also have Community French and Community Mandarin going. In addition, we have Children's French going in the evenings, Mondays through Wednesday. And in addition to our Facebook programming, we also have on Instagram Live French lessons and Portuguese lessons. So lots of new content coming to you every week, almost daily. And because of this, I have an exciting announcement to make that we are going to be appearing on the Brookline Local Access TV, kind of inspired by the videos we've been making on Facebook. They contacted us and we were able to set up, so we'll be having some programming for Spanish that's going to appear on their channel coming up probably in the next week or two. So please keep an eye out for that. I've put a link on our Google business profile. So if you look, just Google Rola Languages, you can find the most recent post where it has a link to their live stream. So in case you're not a local resident who actually has a TV that you can watch the Brookline channel on, they also live stream their programming on their website, so anyone can watch it. So we're really excited about this new development, and we'll be having adult Spanish lessons and also kids Spanish lessons that will appear on the channel. And the adult programming will be happening on Mondays at 1 p.m. for a half-hour slot, and then it's going to be rebroadcast on Sunday mornings, I believe, at 9 a.m. So if you miss it the first time, you have another chance to catch it. So we're really excited about this new development, and stay tuned for more news on that as we get going. So now, without further ado, I want to jump into our topic for today as we continue our Repaso series, our review series. So we've been reviewing now for all the topics we've been learning over these past few months on our Facebook Live lessons. So we're going to continue on our reviews. In fact, today is even more review on something we were practicing in our last video, which was practicing doing translations from English to Spanish using IR verbs in the present. So it's not only a test of our verb knowledge, but also of our vocabulary, because oftentimes we need to use several different types of words in the sentences. So it's a great exercise to put different skills together when you're learning this in Spanish. So, and as usual, I always post an extra exercise on our website after the video itself goes up. So on rolalanguages.com, you can find links to all the videos that we've made up to this point. And in addition, we have extra worksheets and things. So you're welcome to check those out or share those with anyone else who you think might find them helpful. And maybe if you're tuning in today for this review video, but you missed the original video where we learned something for the first time, maybe you will want to kind of go back, circle back on what you missed. And so all that stuff is there up on our website, on rolalanguages.com, on our Facebook Live page. So let's get into our exercise for today. So as I said, we're going to be practicing more with IR verbs and doing more translations together. So as we've been doing, I want to make this as interactive as possible. So while I'll be walking you through this exercise, I welcome you to put your own answers in the comments. Escribe tus respuestas en los comentarios abajo. So please feel free, if you're watching on Facebook or watching on YouTube, to put in your own answers in the comment box, and I can see what you write and can feature it on screen. So let's get into our exercise. So as we've the same structure as we did last time, where we have a box up top that gives us some information that we need to use to do this exercise, whether it's a verb or some conjugations or some vocabulary. These are the words that we're going to be working with for our exercise today. So I'm going to go down to número uno, and sorry, this is a little bit broken up that we have the box on the previous page and then the exercise on the next page, but we will do our best. So número uno, you can see número uno, I receive a letter. I receive a letter. So as I said, please feel free to put your own answers in the comments below. And I'm also going to put my answers up on screen too as I walk you through this. So I receive a letter. I receive. So we know the I form is going to be with yo meaning I. And again, as I said, since this is a review video, I'm going to be working under the assumption that you are familiar with some of these things already. So that's why I'm going to kind of move through it at a different pace. But if you do need that extra review, or you need to go back and learn something for the first time, as I said, you're welcome to go to our website and check out, or go to our YouTube channel and check out the original video I made teaching these topics. So going with I receive, we have yo recibo, which I know is just above the little box that I kind of scrolled up a little bit more. So you see yo recibo for I receive, and then we need the little vocab to finish up with a letter, okay? And we can see from the box above, that's going to be una carta. And be careful, a little bit careful here, that when we say a letter, there's like an alphabet letter and there's a letter like you'd receive in the mail. So make sure if you're choosing, if you need to look up the word for letter, make sure you find the correct one. So in this case, it tells us in our chart, it's una carta. So carta is going to be a letter like you get in the post, in the mail, versus letra would be for an alphabet letter. So, número uno, we have yo recibo una carta. Yo recibo una carta. Muy bien. Okay, continuamos. Let's do the next one. Número dos. Now scroll up so you can see. Número dos, I don't receive some flowers. I don't receive some flowers. So with this one, we're going to go into a negative version. So as we've been practicing with negative, all we have to do is pop a no in front of the verb, and we have negative. So we have yo no recibo, and then we need some flowers, Yo no recibo, and then for some flowers, we can see from our chart is going to be unas flores, making sure that it agrees that the unas agrees with flores, which are feminine and plural, that's why we're going to use the word unas, because unas is feminine and plural. So, yo no recibo unas flores. Yo no recibo unas flores. And as we go through, muy bien, as we go through these, please feel free to repeat these sentences out loud. It will help you to not only work on your pronunciation, but also the more you repeat something, I know it seems kind of mindless, but honestly, the more you repeat something, the more you write something down, the more your brain is likely to absorb it. So as you do these answers, it's a good exercise to train yourself in the habit of also saying the sentences out loud as you do them, even if you're just going to do them on paper. Okay, muy bien. On to número tres. You receive a present. You receive a present. Okay, so now we're going to be transitioning from yo to the tú form. So tú, and then we know the tú conjugation is recibes with an es ending. So tú recibes, and it's you receive a present. You receive a present. Okay, tú recibes un regalo. I know it's a little bit cut off from the box above, but believe me, it's un regalo. Tú recibes un regalo. Tú recibes un regalo. Be careful here that when we say present, don't say el presente. Presente is present tense, like now, talking about now. So make sure you don't translate that as presente. It's regalo. Okay, excelente. Sí, tú recibes un regalo. Okay, número cuatro. Moving right along. She receives some flowers. She receives some flowers. So for she, we're going to use ella, and then the form of recibir, which goes with ella, as we know from our practice and know from the chart above, el, ella, un, usted share the same form, which is going to be recibe. So ella recibe. Okay, so we have the first two parts of what we need for a sentence, and then we need some flowers to finish this sentence. So some flowers, as we had in número dos, is unas flores. So ella recibe unas flores. Muy bien. Ella recibe unas flores. Excelente. Okay, número cinco. We're halfway there already. Número cinco. I don't receive a present. So going back to a negative form. Okay, so we're going to need to put the no in front of our verb. Yo no recibo. And then a present, which as we just saw in número tres, is un regalo. So yo no recibo un regalo. Qué triste, how sad. Yo no recibo un regalo. I don't receive a present. Yo no recibo un regalo. Okay, I hope this is going well for you. And as we've been practicing in this past video, this should be hopefully becoming second nature. Okay, número seis. He receives a surprise. He receives a surprise. So now we're working with él, which we saw in our box above, going for the él, ella, usted form. So él recibe, and then a surprise. This is the first time we're using this vocabulary word in this exercise. So we'll go back above to check the word in case you don't have it in memory, which is going to be una sorpresa. Una sorpresa. So él recibe una sorpresa. Él recibe una sorpresa. He receives a surprise. Okay, número siete. we don't receive a present. We don't receive a present. So here's our first one. We're going into the we form, the nosotros or nosotras form. And as I've been mentioning in the previous videos, in English, because we don't specify the gender, we don't know from our English, so as we do translations, as we do English to Spanish, we don't know if we should use nosotros or nosotras. So you could use either one. There might be some other context that will help you to know, but in general with these sentences, we don't have other context. So we could use either nosotros or nosotras as we translate. Nosotros would be covering either an all-male group or a mixed gender group, and nosotras for an all-female group. So I'm going to go ahead and use nosotros because it covers 2 out of my 3 possibilities, a mixed group or an all-male group. So I'm going to use that as my default. Okay, so nosotros, and then it's negative, so we need no, nosotros, no, and then we need our conjugation of recibir that goes with nosotros. So this is the first one we're seeing in this form in this exercise. So for the nosotros form, we can see from our chart that we're going to have the ending of imos, so we have recibimos. Recibimos. So for this sentence, nosotros no recibimos, and then we need to finish it up with the vocab of a present. So no recibimos, which we're now at this point well familiar with. So no recibimos un regalo. Nosotros no recibimos un regalo. Triste again. Okay, número 8. They receive some bad news. They receive some bad news. Okay, so now we're going to go for they. So we can do either ellos or ellas for the same reasons as I mentioned with nosotros or nosotras. In English, we don't specify the gender, so we don't know. So we can use either ellos or ellas in our translation. I'm going to use ellos. And we can see the ellos form, as we know for this third person plural, is going to end with en or en. So we have reciben. So we have ellos reciben. And then as we go for some bad news. So there's a key point here in the vocabulary that in Spanish, when we talk about news, if something is a piece of news, we can use the singular of una noticia, okay? Now, if we're talking about like the news in general, like did you watch the news, then it would be las noticias. But we can have una noticia in Spanish, and that's very typical. In English, we can't say that. We can't say like a news, right? We have to have some good news, some bad news. It must be plural. But in Spanish, we can specify if it's just like one piece of news or plural. So we get una noticia or unas noticias if it's really a plural, like multiple items of news. So in this case, when we talk about some good news, it's usually going to be about one specific topic. So it's really one piece of news. So with this sentence, which we're saying they receive some bad news, so we're going to say ellos reciben una mala noticia. Una mala noticia, because again, we're assuming it's basically one piece of bad news. So ellos reciben una mala noticia. Okay. Okay, and then if it was more than one, if it was really like multiple items of bad news, then you could say reciben malas noticias or unas malas noticias. But again, we're assuming it's going to be about one topic. Okay, dos más, 2 more to go. Número 9, you all receive some good news. So you all being ustedes, and then we have receive, which we know is sharing the same conjugation as ellos or ellas. So we can reuse the same verb as we had for the previous one. So ustedes reciben, and then here we have some good news. So this is going to be una buena noticia. Okay, so versus mala noticia we had in the previous one. So ustedes reciben una buena noticia if you're receiving some good news, a piece of good news, okay? Ustedes reciben una buena noticia. Okay, last one, número 10. You all receive a surprise. You all receive a surprise. So ustedes again, and then therefore it's going to be reciben for the verb again, just like we had in the previous one. Okay, and then we need the vocabulary for a surprise. Una sorpresa. Una sorpresa. So ustedes reciben una sorpresa for the last one. Ustedes reciben una sorpresa. Excelente. All right, so that wraps up this exercise. But as I mentioned, if you would like to get more practice, you're welcome to go to our website, rolalanguages.com, where you can find not only the exercise that we did on our last Community Spanish for this, but we can also check out previous videos I've made with other exercises. So there's lots of places to reinforce. And I'm also going to be posting an extra exercise along with this video later on this week. So then you'll have even more material to practice with. So there's lots and lots of things to work with. And as I said, you're welcome to share those resources with anyone who you think would be able to benefit from them. So they're free. We want to share them with the community. So don't be shy to check them out, and don't be shy to share them around. That's all for today. I'll see you next on Friday at 12 for the last Community Spanish of this week. Gracias y adiós.